How you guys doing? This is going to be my PvE tier list so far for Tarisland. I'm going to give you guys my opinion on all of the different classes and obviously specializations individually in the game. How good they are in leveling, dungeoning, as well as raiding, early game, and obviously late game at level 40. If you're trying to get those elite challenges all done, this should all help you out. So let's dive into today's video. Hello, yeah, it's Specializations. Come on and subscribe for more daily videos with me, MrSneakyy, the one and only. We're here on Tarisland, boys, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been really enjoying the game. As you can tell, I've been smashing this out and even making a second character on EU right now. And what we're gonna do is use the tier list here, and it's a really good tier list made by Spid. Big shout out to the big man himself. You should follow him on Twitter if you want to go. This link will be in the description below if you want to just go directly to this and click the button. Really big shout out to him because he was able to put pretty much all of the different DPS / heal different class specs here. We are missing obviously Ranger twice, the Shadow Swordsman twice, and obviously Mage twice. However, I will discuss each of their specializations overall and then place the class in the correct tier basically. So what we'll do is start off this tier list, right? And we've got the Barbarian at the beginning, right? So we've got DPS and tank. So you've got the Thunder DPS build as well as the tank Frost build. And to be honest, I actually like both of these classes. I think overall the classes are really good class. And if you're looking at just trying to find a really cool PvE based tank, these are actually really good. When it comes to PvP, I would not really look at them at that, but there will be a individual tier list for PvP in the future, so just look out for that. But when we're looking at the Frost one, I am going to put the Frost tank in the A tier, while I'm actually going to put the Thunder DPS in the S tier right now, because the DPS Barbarian, the actual Thunder God, is an AoE machine. As well as that, it does give you a ton, guys, of extra attack through its Bloodlust effect at level 40. When you get those actual talent upgrades and you start to maximize the AoE effects, it's a really good addition generally in any team, right? With this, the actual Frost tank, I actually think he's a really good tank by all means. He actually is a really powerful one. However, I do think some of the other tanks in the game just slightly outperform it just by a small amount, and that's kind of why you'll see in the future where we're going to place these guys, right? So those where we're going to put our first two in the PvE tier list, nice and easy. Now we've got the Bard, and the Bard is a DPS and healer. And the cool thing is with a DPS build, it is actually an absolute monster. I'm going to put this at the top of A tier. I'm going to basically class it as the Gatekeeper. This class could arguably be S tier at the moment, and it definitely needs a nerf in Tarisland. The DPS output is actually kind of crazy for a healer, right? It allows them to use their new, I think it's rhythmic empowerment, where it's allowed those chords where it goes blue, red, or red, red, and they can combo off to do some fantastic moves, as well as to do some great enhancement effects as well to the team, which is really cool to see. The healing side, again, I'm actually going to put in the S tier. I've actually been playing so far in this game with always either a Bard or a priest in there, right? And you'll see why I've kind of said those two and left the other one out a little bit later as a little spoiler. But the Bard healer, when I've ever had one in my team, I basically don't die. They have some amazing enhancements, which I believe is damage reduction to their team, which is a great mitigation to have. They can even just grant you just insanely great AoE healing. They've got some good spot healing, and they just do some good damage, which is actually scary as well. We normally have a Bard always in our team at the moment, so I definitely think it deserves an S tier spot. If it doesn't, I don't know what does, because that's kind of cracked out as a role. Now we've got the Mage, and the Mage, the thing is with them, they've got Frost and they have fire. And the thing is, fire is pretty cool if you're trying to do just absolute carnage burst damage. And the thing is, with the frost one, it's pretty OP in PvP, right? And they've got a generally good overall class. The problem is when it comes into the other DPS classes in the game, it just feels like they do get outmatched. And that's kind of a sad thing. Like, even with the Barbarian, might lack a little bit of the damage of the AoE, the fact that it does grant that AoE buff to the whole team is actually a really powerful effect when it comes to end game content. And the thing is, with the mage, all they really do, and this is why I'm going to put them in the A tier, is actually just allow you to clear a ton of mobs all the time. I actually think a mage having one in the team isn't too bad. They allow you to clear all of the trash all the way up to the boss. But when it comes to that boss damage, I will promise you they are not going to be in the top DPS meters compared to some of the other classes that I've been playing with and against in my current experience, right? So now we're moving on to the Paladin. We've got a Paladin DPS and a Paladin tank. And the Paladin DPS seems to be A tier as well from what I've seen. I haven't actually seen too many of these boys, because I do think they just get outscaled from all of the other actual, classes in the game. Maybe you could even class them as B tier, but I personally don't want to do that. I think they actually have some credibility to them, right? Because they actually do survive quite well, but they just don't really do an insane amount of damage again compared to some of the other classes. However, the tank, oh boy, I love a Paladin tank. I don't know what it is, but when you have a Paladin tank in your dungeon team, guys, or raid team, you feel like if you're a healer, that tank generally doesn't need to get healed. You might have to heal him every so often, but Jesus Christ, these guys are absolute monsters when it comes to tanking in raids. It makes me kind of jealous as a warrior. I'm not going to lie. My warrior does not nowhere near tank as much damage as a Paladin does, but it has its other benefits too, right? But this is absolutely a great choice. If you were to play a Paladin, I wouldn't actually hate you at all. You can see why, because they're pretty good overall class. Even in PvP, they're pretty good too, that I've been playing against. They just actually just slap and don't die. So you really, really enjoy these guys. Now we've got the hard one, which is gonna be the priest, right? So this is the priest, I believe, on there. We've got the priest DPS. And I'm going to put the priest DPS, which is kind of hard to see, in B tier. I know, it's a bit sad to see. It's the only B tier class in the game, or class spec. And don't get me wrong, it's pretty nice to see some of these guys do some okay damage out there. And leveling up, it'll allow you to get through the content. But I wouldn't ever really expect priests to be the top DPS, not compared to some of the heavy hitters that are still yet to come on this list. But they do an okay job. You'll probably enjoy just the DPS route on them. It's really fun to play, but I wouldn't again expect them to out DPS any of the other classes in their chosen roles or what they're doing so far on the list. However, I was definitely wrong in my class spec to do with heals. I really like the heals of this class. This class is a really good, just AoE monster. They really do excel at just keeping everyone alive in AoE situations. And honestly, when it comes to a team comp, I normally don't mind having a priest or a bard to fill one of those healing slots. Because the second healer that's going to be in those other slots is always going to be the next role in this tier list, right? And that is the Phantom Necro. The Phantom Necro for me is a S tier class spec as well. I've actually started playing this myself, and they are crazy at what they're able to do. They have some amazing AoE, AoE healing, but they've got some really good AoE healing, really good single target healing even, which is really good. But the buffs, they have some great buffs in their kit that allow you to actually get through a lot of the raid dungeons for endgame content. On top of this, I know other classes also do some sort of ability to, revive, but you do get a revive built into the Phantom Necro's kit, which is a amazing little ultimate, allowing you to have full basically utility on heals and stuff on your main skills, and then that ultimate ability to revive is a really nice addition to their kit. So I actually really do like a Phantom Necro. Phantom Necro to me is honestly probably underrated by majority of the community. I would always, if I can get one Phantom Necro into my team and like a Bard or a Priest, I am happy, right? I am absolutely happy because I know if anything goes wrong, the Phantom Necro is going to be able to bring them back without using any of those medical aid kits. That is a consumable item. So I really do enjoy this class. So the DPS side of things, I'm actually going to put the DPS in A tier 2. I actually did not realize, guys, how cracked his damage dealing is. It's actually really good. I would actually, I don't know if it's better than the mage. I don't want to upset the mage fans, but it's definitely better than the paladin. The AoE ability is absolutely cracked. The fact that it just does a monstrous amount of damage, the more ads that basically your tank pulls, is a great feature. The amount of single target DPS you also do with the image or the wraith that you're summoning is a really powerful ability as well, and you honestly will surprise a lot of people in the leveling stages of things, obviously in your damage meter. But when it comes to the end game, there is still the other classes that will outperform you on this tier list, and one of them is going to be, as you guys can see, the Ranger. The Ranger is easily, guys, easily, if I'm not going to put this in S tier, you guys think I'm trolling, but the Ranger is just one of the best, if not the best, DPS in the game, right? You have the hunting route and the beast taming route, and either way you go, you honestly can't go wrong. A lot of players will recommend at the moment, I believe the beast taming route is the meta, and it deals the most amount of damage in the raids and dungeons, and it just allows you to actually be quite a lot more resourceful as a hunter, or should I say as a ranger, in the Tarisland world, which is really nice in your PvE raids. But you do so much damage, it is obscene. If we're gonna kind of put these guys in order, I'm gonna put the Ranger really high up on this tier list. Same with the Bard, and then I'm gonna put it in like this kind of order. I actually think this is about right on just how much availability, you know, it's gonna be within the tiniest amounts, you know, but definitely the Ranger at the top of the S tier right now. Bard, Phantom Necro, then the Barbarian, into the Paladin tank, and then the Priest Healer covering the end of it, right? So we've only got 3 specs to go. This is going to be the Shadow Assassins and then the 2 Warriors. So the Shadow Swordsman, again, S tier, and I'm going to put this guy again right on the other end. It is cracked how much damage a Shadow Swordsman's able to do, right? If you know how to play this class and you know the poison stacks correctly and you just start pumping up this damage meter, you generally are the top damage dealer in the raid. I'm not even lying. You, all of a good ranger, are the top DPSs in the raid. You just do the obscenest amount of damage, and even some people will stay. You know, the venom and poison build is so easy to play that anyone can kind of do it, which is kind of crazy, right? The cunning side, which is, I believe, the kind of like shadow step and vanishing, kind of more of the assassin playstyle, is really, really good for PvP. So you've actually got kind of the best of both worlds if you're picking a DPS class and you want a PvP and PvE in here. So I definitely want to rate this guy in the S tier. Now, I don't know how I'm going to position these two guys, because we've got my class, and my class is the Warriors. And obviously, when I have been playing so far as a DPS warrior, a lot of the time people see me in the top 5 DPS rankings. And I think as a DPS, it is definitely up there. I don't know if it's going to be S tier or if it's going to be A tier. It's crazy, because the thing is with the Warrior compared to the Barbarian, the Barbarian has a lot better AoE clear. However, the Warrior has a lot better boss clear. Does that make sense? Like, it's really good to have the Barbarian because it's going to give you as well the more attack buff in the team. But the amount of AoE it has allows you to clear and get to the boss, while the Warrior has some good AoE with Blade Cyclone, but all of its damage is when it's cycling that range and you're single target hammering down onto the boss. So it makes you kill bosses a lot more smoothly too. So I'm gonna put it in S tier. I'm actually gonna put it in S tier. It is cracked how good this class is. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. I might be biased here. You guys might want me to put it in A tier. Maybe in a future video, we might be able to make a tier list live and you guys can vote where you want any of these classes to go, and that'd be a really fun video. But for me, it is arguably kind of busted right now. A Warrior, as long as you know what you're doing, can pump out some insane DPS. You also give your whole team, guys, 50% of your attack buff as well as the combo buff, right? So it's really powerful that you're giving everyone a bunch of an attack and combo. Rangers and Shadow Swordsmen love that. The fact they can attack an additional time makes them even happier. So it's a really, really good class. And when it comes to the tank, I don't know. Some people might put it in the S tier, but I'm actually going to put it in the A tier. I'm going to put it just behind the Barbarian tank. So the way I've learned from playing against other tanks in the game, as well as playing with other tanks in the game, is my Warrior tank is really good at some AoE damage, and it's really, really good as well at just kind of absorbing some kind of big hits at certain times, right? But the problem is with my Warrior is it feels like it does require a good healer. It needs someone actually healing that tank constantly. When you compare that kind of to the Frost Barbarian, just the sheer amount of shielding and just tanking that class can do is ridiculous. But we do have some really good AoE, and we do have that really good, again, kind of area of effect. So it could be argued this could be an S tier class 2 in raiding and PvE. But for me, I'm going to put it in A tier. I do think it's a really good and an exceptionally good tank. I don't think it's one of the best tanks. I actually think the best tank is easily a Paladin at the moment when I've been experiencing it myself in the Tarisland world. So that is going to be my tier list, right? This is all just from my personal opinions and just playing the game from global launch so far, and obviously seeing what we've been playing with, what we've been playing against, what's been really good and what's been really bad. What I've noticed always that's kind of like out DPSing me and what I beating on a daily basis, right? Obviously, I'm not saying this is the meta and this is the best thing in the, you know, concrete evidence, but it's a really good way of maybe someone kind of being a little bit more honest on how things are. I actually think the game's in a really good state, and to be honest, most classes you pick, you can honestly have an amazing time and have a bunch of fun. So hopefully you've learned a little bit in this video. Maybe you've thought this was a really good analogy and breakdown of these classes and what they're able to do. And if you have, smash like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to help me with the next tier list for the PvE and raids, let me know in a comment down below. I would love to live stream this and give all of you guys, the viewers, the power to place these guys in any of these tier, and I will read all of the comments down below or in the live chat and explain why you guys are saying where you would like to have them, right? So with all of that said, smash like, comment, subscribe. Until the next one, stay safe, stay sneaky, and peace out.